What's up guys, June here, and earlier this week we had a myriad of changes to combat, but most importantly Onslaught has been buffed and is now a very useful ability in a lot of different circumstances. So in this video I'm going to talk about what it does, how to use it, and also some different ways that you can maximize its effectiveness in those different circumstances. So let's get started. Onslaught is a Constitution ultimate ability that lasts up to 30 seconds. The first hit it deals will deal 150% weapon damage, and every subsequent hit increases by 33% weapon damage, so this effect gets progressively higher with no limit as you continue to channel the ability. The first 4 hits drain your adrenaline down to 0, and then hits 5 through 10 will recoil 25% of whatever damage you deal to the enemy back onto you. After the 10th hit, every additional hit will recoil that same amount of damage, but you'll also take an additional 1000 damage per hit. So for example, on the 13th hit you will sustain 25% of whatever damage you dealt plus 3000 damage. One additional effect that makes Onslaught particularly strong is that it isn't confined to the natural damage cap that most abilities are, so you can actually hit up to 30,000 damage with any individual hit while using this ability. Realistically speaking, because of the limits to healing and the effect that it has of recoiling damage back on you, you're going to usually get between 10 and 12 hits depending on how much damage you're taking in whatever circumstance you're using this in, but generally speaking you're going to be dealing about 30 to 50,000 damage against whatever you're attacking during that time, so this is an extremely powerful ultimate ability for doing very strong burst damage in a small period of time. If you're trying to get the maximum effect out of Onslaught, there are a few things that you can do to extend the amount of time that you'll be able to comfortably use it. The first is any kind of a food that has a heal over time effect, like Great Gunkin or Juju Gumbo. If you eat before the Onslaught, the healing over time effect will continue while Onslaught is active and not actually cancel the Onslaught effect, and the same goes for the heal over time of the Enhanced Excalibur. You may also choose to use a Phoenix Necklace. When this activates, it will cancel Onslaught, but this is a great way to sort of alleviate a little bit of the stress at the end of Onslaught. If the Phoenix Necklace triggers, then it will cancel it automatically and you won't kill yourself. It won't always trigger due to the amount of damage that you sustain as the last hit, but that's what the Sign or Portent of Life is for. If you decide to push it a little bit too long and kill yourself, the Sign or Portent of Life will revive you and cancel the Onslaught, and you can heal up to full and resume the fight as normal. The last item which synergizes very well with the Onslaught is very situational, but the Constitution Crystal in the Fight Kiln is probably the #1 most overpowered thing to use with Onslaught. Not only does it boost your HP way above your natural maximum, but it constantly restores your HP, so you can extend Onslaught almost to its full duration with this, though at some point the additional 1k damages get so much that they will KO you through this, but this is more than enough to wipe out Harakin in a single use, and I will show a clip of that later on without even using overloads. I just absolutely cream him in just a few seconds. Since the changes, Onslaught's now very useful at a bunch of different places. Virago especially, any of the phases where you're required to be doing DPS and things aren't on a timer, like P3 and P5, or for hard mode P3 through 8 and 10 and 11, there have been a bunch of different records broken for Virago and hard mode Virago already as a result of this, and definitely this is a great replacement for meta in any of the places in Virago where you would normally use meta. Similarly, for people who maybe are soloing next, this is a great way to pressure through the blood phase if you aren't good at one cycling with a normal rotation. Araxi is great if you use this shortly after the 50k threshold on the final phase. You can usually kill Araxi before even being struck with the acid wave at all. For weaker bosses like Calfight King, this is a great thing to do speed kills with. For Harakin, this has completely replaced Metamorphosis and a Magic Crystal, and you can now one-cycle Harakin with absolutely no chance of failing. It's great for Rots. The Rots record for non-adren stalling has been broken as a result of this, and it's also a great thing to use as part of a normal DPS rotation when your Sunshine's on cooldown. So you could use Sunshine, do your 30 seconds of normal DPS, and then build back up to 100% and use Onslaught, and then resume that cycle of doing Sunshine, Onslaught, Sunshine, Onslaught. But that can be a little bit dangerous depending on what sort of a boss you're using and how many supplies you generally are required to use at that boss, but you can incorporate that as you see fit. Thanks as always for watching, guys. In this clip here I'm about to kill Harakin, and like I said, I'm not even overloaded in this clip, but watch how easily I take this guy down just using the Constitution Crystal. No doubt, Onslaught is a risky thing to use and it's going to require a little bit of experimentation, but I have total faith in you guys that you'll be able to adapt this to your style and do really amazing DPS with this. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.